Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Merci beaucoup, Kerry. Je tiens à remercier l'Association des industries solaires du Canada de m'avoir invité à prendre la parole ce matin. Thanks very much, Kerry, and many thanks to the Canadian Solar Industry Association for inviting me to speak this morning. And let me start by congratulating the association and its members on the growing size and importance of this conference and trade show, from 40 exhibitors just 4 years ago to more than 220 this year. And that's an impressive record, and it reflects what's going on in the industry. Revenues in the photovoltaic industry are up 60% last year to more than $1.1 billion. For solar thermal, revenues increased by more than 75% to $38 million, the 8th annual increase in a row. And this resulted in more jobs. In fact, it's estimated that the solar industry in Canada now employs more than 5,500 people. And we want to see this progress continue. And this is where our government is focusing its efforts. And that's what I'd like to talk about this morning, the work we're doing to support the industry's own efforts to deliver a product that is competitive both in price and performance. There's no question that renewables, from hydro to solar, will form an important part of our energy mix as Canada emerges as a global energy superpower. In Canada, 77% of electricity is generated by non-emitting energy, mainly hydro and nuclear. And according to the latest projections from the International Energy Agency, or IEA, renewables will account for 1/2 of all new electricity generation around the world over the next 25 years. The same report projects that solar PV electricity generation will expand globally at an average annual rate of 15% over the next 25 years, from 0.1% to 2.6% globally. And in Canada, solar capacity was 0.2% of total capacity, but it produced 0.7% of electricity. So there is a way to go, but the opportunity is there, as we have heard and as you'll hear later in this conference. During this period, global energy demand is also expected to increase sharply. So even with that amount of growth in solar and renewables, it's projected that oil and gas will continue to be dominant sources of energy. The latest World Energy Outlook from the IEA forecasts that fossil fuels will account for 75% of global energy consumption in 2035, a decline of about 6% from current levels. And that will be the case even with advances in energy efficiency and renewable energy. These projections underline the economic and strategic importance of Canada's world-class oil and gas reserves, as well as the vast potential to diversify markets for Western Canadian crude. Nevertheless, we have to put it all in perspective. I returned from a trade mission to China and Japan a few weeks ago, and I can assure you that those countries are well aware that our oil sands are the 3rd largest proven reserves in the world. They're also aware that Canada has vast reserves of natural gas, and they're watching closely as proposals move forward for pipelines to carry those oil and gas reserves to West Coast ports. Now, it is difficult to overemphasize the importance of these large energy reserves to our prosperity. They represent hundreds of thousands of Canadian jobs and billions of dollars in tax and royalty revenue for governments and trillions of dollars of economic activity. Just as we are committed to balanced, prudent approach to managing our finances, the government is developing and managing these resources in a way that protects our economy and our environment. And that prudent approach allowed us to deliver an unprecedented fiscal response to protect Canadians from the worst of the downturn, and to do it without painting ourselves into a fiscal corner. In fact, the government remains on track to eliminate the federal deficit over the medium term. We know the global economy is fragile. The European fiscal situation is volatile, vulnerable, and worrisome. U.S. growth is sluggish, and Canada does not operate alone, and we're not immune from the risks, but we are in a better position than most. Today, while some countries are looking to protectionism to stabilize their economies, Canada is lowering trade barriers. Where some are turning to higher taxes to pay down deficits, Canada can offer the lowest overall tax rate on new business investment in the G7. These efforts are helping to maintain Canada's advantage in the global economy, and we do have an advantage. Forbes magazine recently named Canada the best place in the world to do business. And that's a pretty strong endorsement. And our focus will remain on the economy, a low-tax plan for jobs and growth. Nous sommes conscients de l'importance d'investir dans l'innovation et la technologie, en particulier dans le domaine de l'énergie. Now, we realize how important it is to invest in innovation and technology, especially where energy is concerned. Since 2006, our government has committed more than $10 billion to initiatives to support the development and demonstration of clean energy technologies and green technology, increase supply of clean energy, increase energy efficiency, and reduce emissions associated with energy production and use. And we will continue to examine ways we can be helpful in the context of our current fiscal situation. This is also part of setting the foundation for long-term and sustainable prosperity. Like other countries, we are committed to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and that is creating opportunities for new technologies, including solar. At the same time, in the current uncertain global economic situation, public and private investors alike are moving with caution. No matter how desirable they are from an environmental perspective, new technologies that cannot offer a strong business case will encounter difficulty gaining acceptance in the marketplace. For solar, investors will be even more cautious following the spectacular failure of Solyndra in the United States. It's important, therefore, to understand that Solyndra failed not because there's something wrong with solar. The company failed because both its business model and its technology were seriously flawed. It used 3 times more material to produce only marginally more electricity. Its technology did not work in 2 of the most important parts of the market for PV panels, residential rooftop systems, and large solar farms. The company simply could not compete against imports from China. We've also seen the delisting of Arise technology and significant declines in stock prices for numerous other solar companies across the board. There's been a substantial drop in demand for solar panels, especially in Europe, a large market for solar panels, and the resulting oversupply and excess panel-making capacity has pushed both panel prices and revenues down for solar manufacturers. The markets are not, however, telling us there's something wrong with solar technology. They're reminding us that this is a business like any other, and that is a key point. The future for solar will be assessed where and when it can establish a sound business model that allows it to capitalize on solid market opportunities. Il y a de plus en plus d'arguments commerciaux en faveur de l'énergie solaire au Canada. The business case for solar in Canada is improving. Canadian photovoltaic module prices have fallen by an average of more than 15% per year over the past 10 years, from nearly $11 per watt in 2000 to about $2.25 a watt at the end of last year. Further cost reductions are expected as the technology advances, bringing solar closer to grid parity, especially in remote communities and other markets where energy prices generally are higher. And over the longer term, we see applications in net zero home technology and as a component of district energy systems using seasonal solar storage. And this is where our government is making a difference, investing in initiatives that help move solar technologies closer to the point where they can carve out a significant chunk of the market on their own merits. For example, NRCan contributed almost $1 million to the Solar Buildings Research Network for a PV thermal project on the John Molson School of Business at Concordia University. Ce projet était géré par l'Université Concordia et par le Centre Canamet Énergie de mon ministère à Varennes, au Québec. This project was managed by Concordia University and my department's CanMet Energy in Varennes, Quebec. Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada is investing $5 million over the next 5 years in its new smart net zero energy buildings strategic research network headquartered in Concordia University. This network focuses on research that will facilitate widespread adoption in key areas of Canada by 2030. On energy design and operation concepts suited to Canadian climatic conditions and on construction practices. CanMet Energy also played a key role in the development and commercialization of CanSIA Energy's solar wall technology, which is now in use in close to 36 countries. In addition, we played a significant part in moving the solar wall to the next stage, integrating solar thermal and PV in one package. A prime example is at Concordia University. Our own installation at the Concordia Energy Research Center in Ottawa is also connected to the grid. We've invested in a number of demonstration projects, including close to $3 million in the Drake Landing solar community in Okotoks, just south of Calgary. And I'm sure most of you have heard of it, a pretty dramatic demonstration of what solar energy can do in the Canadian climate. Its solar district heating system meets up to 90% of the solar heating needs of the 52 homes in the development. And I'm very pleased to say that the project won the Golden Energy Globe Award at the prestigious Energy Globe Foundation Annual Awards in Austria in November 25. And this is a remarkable achievement. NRCan's Doug McClellan accepted the award on behalf of the project. We've also invested $500,000 with Carmina, one of the sponsors of this conference, for the installation of a solar PV system to light pedestrian pathway in Kelowna, BC. We welcome and we will continue to offer a generous accelerated capital cost allowance for businesses that invest in renewable energy systems, including solar systems. The Clean Energy Fund, part of our Economic Action Plan for Canada, is funding a community-level solar energy project in Colwood, BC, to use heat and power from solar thermal, solar PV, heat pumps, and emerging smart grid technologies. This innovative project, undertaken with a broad range of partnerships, will be a model for other municipalities across the country. We've committed to more than $11 million to 8 solar PV projects through our Eco Energy for Renewable Power program, 80 megawatts altogether. Solar domestic hot water systems are among the improvements eligible for grants to homeowners under our Eco Energy Retrofit for Homes program. Our Eco Energy for Renewable Heat has supported the installation of solar thermal systems in close to 2,500 commercial, institutional, and residential properties across the country. This same program also helped the industry increase its capacity to deliver quality systems to the Canadian market through a host of initiatives that may not seem very exciting, but that are critical to its long-term success. I'm talking about things that are essential to building public and market confidence in the technology and the industry. Developing and updating equipment standards and certification processes for solar thermal technologies. Certification of packaged solar domestic water heating systems. Promotion of the inclusion of new technologies in building codes and in provincial and municipal regulations. Skills training in solar thermal and PV designers and installers. And we have committed a total of $97 million to our new Eco Energy Innovation Initiative that I announced here in Toronto in August. This initiative includes a funding component intended specifically to support further development and demonstration of this kind of integrated solar technology. We've received a number of proposals for solar projects through this initiative, which tells me that the relationship between the Government of Canada, academia, and the solar industry is a healthy one. And that's good, because there is still work to do, both on cost and performance. Together, we've made substantial progress working to get the fundamentals right and setting the foundation for progress. The business case is showing steady improvement. Our research and development partnerships have led to new technologies that have been commercialized by Canadian industry and exported around the world. And I can assure you, the Government of Canada wants this progress to continue. The economic and environmental benefits of a prosperous solar industry are very clear, and I look forward to working with the Canadian Solar Industry Association as we continue to strengthen the foundation upon which that prosperity will be built. Je vous remercie de votre attention et je vous souhaite une conférence des plus fructueuses. Thank you very much, and please accept my wishes for a very successful conference. Thank you.